Living Sacrifice, a reflection for the solemnity of the most holy body and blood of Christ. The brief drama portrayed in the first reading presents Melchizedek as both king and priest of the area of Salem, later called Jerusalem. Appearing in the story out of nowhere, Melchizedek presents Abram with tokens of hospitality, bread and wine, commemorating Abram's victory over the eastern kings, and blesses him in the name of God Most High, the Creator of heaven and earth. This kingly, priestly action acknowledges Abram's status and stature. No longer merely a tribal leader, he is well on his way to becoming a respected local influence. Melchizedek also receives an honorable mention in today's responsorial psalm. Actually, several, since the refrain includes his name. Why does this obscure Old Testament character figure so predominantly in this Sunday's lectionary lineup? In his unique dual vocation, he points forward to Jesus Christ, who will also offer bread and wine and come to be called priest and king. Following the psalm, we hear St. Paul's institution narrative from 1 Corinthians. His brief recounting of the Lord's Supper predates those found in the four Gospels. Yet even so, he begins with these words, "I received from the Lord what I also handed on to you." In other words, St. Paul did not invent this text. He heard it from those who handed on the living tradition to him. Thus, before the New Testament scriptures came to be written, tradition was already alive and well. Both the second reading and the Gospel feature the words of Jesus. And two phrases strike me as the most significant for this solemnity of the most holy body and blood of Christ. "Do this in remembrance of me," and "give them some food yourselves." Before the directive, "do this," Jesus breaks the bread and says, "This is my body, which is for you." He might mean, do the ritual meal that makes present his saving death and resurrection. He might mean, do as he has done and is about to do, that is, be broken and poured out for others. Knowing Jesus, he probably means both. The Catechism of the Catholic Church puts it this way: in the Eucharist, the sacrifice of Christ becomes also the sacrifice of the members of his body. The lives of the faithful, their praise, sufferings, prayer, and work are united with those of Christ and with his total offering, and so acquire a new value. In celebrating the Eucharist, we not only look back at Christ's sacrifice and bring it to the present for the sake of our salvation, we also bring all that we are to the altar and present ourselves as a living sacrifice for divine use, according to the exhortation of St. Paul in Romans 12:1. Anything short of this unconditional offering hinders the Spirit who seeks to transform the world through us. How often we are tempted to grumble, We have little enough for ourselves. How can we feed all of these others? In today's gospel, Jesus shows us the abundance that is ours to share.